viewers, you're watching 6 Stories at 6 and I'm Rakshita Mishra with you this evening. Viewers, we start with the big story from Uttar Pradesh today. In fact, the Sambhal report has been accessed. In fact, parts of it highlight the conspiracy behind the riots and much more than that, viewers, the demographic change is also in focus. Also, the second story on 6 Stories at 6 is how India stands undeterred on the face of Donald Trump's tariffs, even as Trump's aid continued to provoke. Story number 3 is the unfortunate state of affairs in Jammu. The floods wreak havoc and the flow of river continues to be furious. The death toll is rising. Story number 4, viewers, is the row over Mysuru Dasara. The royal family of Mysuru has now jumped in this controversy. Also, we will get you a report from Ground Zero on the tallest Tiranga, the tallest national flag in Kashmir. And also finally we'll tell you how Russia versus Ukraine is only escalating despite the so-called peacemaker Donald Trump's efforts to stop the war. We will get you more on that, but first, viewers, the story on Sambhal. Viewers, a Commission of Inquiry report, a Judicial panel report on Sambhal violence is out, and it's a big reveal. The Hindu side claims of a temple beneath the mosques, and that seems to be somewhere. It looks like there's much more than what meets the eye. The 450-page document submitted to Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath earlier today not only details the recent clashes, but also exposes Sambhal's disturbing history of communal unrest, demographic transformation as well. There is a huge dip in Hindu population, and not just that, there are links of terror groups also behind the violence that has been perpetual. From evidence of the Harihar temple, very importantly, to accounts of planned riots and foreign weapons as well, findings have underscored some big revelations. Here's a report.
It was November 24th when the streets of UP's Sambhal turned into battle zones. Shops were vandalized, vehicles set ablaze, stones pelted, and multiple structures gutted. The scars of Sambhal violence run deep. And now, a damning report on the violence has made some major revelations. According to the Judicial Commission, evidence of the historic Harihar temple has been discovered within the mosque structure in Sambhal. The report also reveals a dramatic demographic change in the Uttar Pradesh town. It states that back in 1947, the Hindu population in Sambhal was at 45%, as opposed to the present scenario where the population stands at just 15%. The 450-page report also detailed out another explosive finding. The probe found evidence of the Sambhal mosque built on the ancient Harihar temple. The commission even listed 15 major communal riots between 1947 and 2019. The report further alleges Sambhal has become a hub for multiple terror networks. Shocking details point to the use of foreign-made weapons, including arms marked "Made in USA" during the November 24 violence. The Sambhal report isn't just about one district. It's about history, identity, and security. The revelations, from demographic upheaval to terror infiltration, demand urgent answers.
President Donald Trump has imposed a steep 50% tariff on Indian goods, doubling the rate overnight in retaliation for New Delhi's continued purchase of Russian oil, or so they say, so they claim. His advisor, Peter Navarro, has been is at it again now. He is escalating the rhetoric, branding Ukraine conflict as Modi's war and accusing India of fueling Moscow's war machine. New Delhi, however, maintains that exports are diversified and resilient, dismissing the tariff shock as temporary despite of Trump administration going hammer and tongs in a bid to convince India to fall in line. New Delhi remains as firm as ever, and United States hypocrisy also is for everyone to see. It's more.
US President Donald Trump's new tariff rate of 50% has kicked in. A 25% tariff was already in place. Another 25% was slapped starting yesterday. All because India continues to buy Russian oil. Amid Trump's strong arming tactics, US is now trying to bait India. This time, it's Trump's advisor, Peter Navarro, who has come out and said that US is ready to waive the additional 25% tariff on India, provided India stops importing oil from Russia. He even went on to say that the Ukraine conflict is Modi's war. Navarro accuses India of fueling Russia's war machine. He even claims Americans are losing because of India and insists that the world's largest democracy must act responsibly. Navarro didn't stop there. He went further, telling India to spare the lecture. He alleged India is cozying up to authoritarians, mocked the oil discounts from Moscow, reminded New Delhi of China's aggression in Aksai Chin. He accused India of arrogance by hiding behind the shield of sovereignty. However, on the other hand, the Indian government has reassured that there is no need to panic.
Our economy is growing, our economy is strong, and our economy is resilient. And we will definitely look at other areas, other regions, other countries and continents.
Government sources have clarified that the impact is not as exaggerated as projected, since India's exports are quite diversified.
भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं।
Commenting on the matter, the government has said that India's exports are reasonably diversified, not limited to the US market, and thus immune to any major shock. The government has further stressed that this is a temporary phase in a long-term relationship between India and the US. Meanwhile, the Democrats on the House Foreign Affairs Committee have come out strongly against President Trump. They accuse him of sabotaging the US-India relationship, singling out New Delhi while overlooking Beijing. The lawmakers point out that while China remains the largest importer of Russian energy, it escapes Trump's criticism. They say India is left perplexed by the president's mercurial shifts, warning that in just 4 months he has managed to muddle 2 decades of US-India policy. Despite the Trump administration going hammer and tongs in a bid to convince India to fall in line, New Delhi remains as firm as ever.
Now, relentless rains have wreaked havoc across Jammu and Kashmir, viewers, from roads and highways, breaking apart to villages facing devastation. The scale of damage is only mounting. Struggles of the stranded, concerns for the vulnerable, and images of resilience continue to emerge from the flood-hit regions.
After nearly 10 hours stranded and waiting, 400 students of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya were finally rescued by boat. The rescue team, visibly relieved yet deeply concerned, remarked how the children were frightened throughout the ordeal. On the Kishtwar to Padar route, the road has been completely washed away, leaving behind a strong stream flowing right through the middle. With no alternative, people are being forced to make a dangerous crossing, balancing on a single narrow wooden log, carrying heavy bags, and using sticks for support to steady themselves as they walk across the precarious path. At the Indo-Pak international border, security forces continue patrolling despite the challenges of flash floods and rising water levels.
As flash floods have caused havoc in the Jammu region, the condition on the international border also remains the same, and Republic is right now at the Indo-Pakistan international border in the Jammu sector, where the brave hearts of the border security force, they are carrying out relentless area domination and patrolling here along the Indo-Pakistan international border. These men, despite braving all odds, they are ensuring that adversaries' nefarious plans are foiled, because the weather is the challenge. Advisory has been issued for the low-lying areas, and so does the adversary that always remains in a bid to destabilize this very area. But these brave hearts of the border security force, equipped with the sophisticated weapons, they are carrying out the patrolling in the area that has completely been flooded. It is the Jammu sector of the Indo-Pakistan international border, where the flash flood and the rising water levels have gone to such a level that on the fence area right now where we are reporting from, the level of the water is almost on their knees level. But this does not hamper the security grid that has been put in place by the BSF here at the Indo-Pakistan international border.
In Udhampur, the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway, a 270-kilometer long stretch, remains completely shut. After suffering massive devastation, the crucial lifeline that connects the valley to the rest of the country now lies in tatters, reduced to multiple breaks and cave-ins within just a single stretch. What was once a seamless highway now stands fractured at several points such as Jakheni and Chenani, leaving the route completely cut off. Flash floods have caused widespread destruction in Lower Beja village of Bhadarwa. Visuals show water gushing out of flood-ravaged houses, with homes and even temples left broken in the devastation. Amid the crisis, villagers have come together, extending support to one another. In a remarkable display of resilience, they are seen placing a wooden log across the fast-flowing stream, creating a makeshift passage to help people cross safely. The situation in Jammu and Kashmir remains tense. With damage and disruption reported from several areas, authorities continue relief and restoration efforts as people struggle to cope with the onslaught of the floods.
It was Mysuru Dasara, the Karnataka's pride and India's glory. For centuries, devotion to goddess Chamundeshwari has defined this festival. But this year, a controversy has overshadowed tradition. The Congress government chose Booker Prize-winning author Banu Mushtaq to inaugurate this event. Mushtaq has openly questioned idol worship, a core practice of Sanatan Dharma. Now, is this inclusivity or politics that risks undermining centuries of faith?
For over 400 years, Mysuru Dasara has begun with the worship of Ma Chamundeshwari atop Chamundi Hill. Amid the festive fervour, opposition argues that Booker Prize winner Banu Mushtaq's remark on idol worship clash with these age-old traditions. The BJP has reacted sharply. Mysuru Kudagu MP Yaduvir Vadiyar calls Chamundi Hill a Shakti Peeth, sanctified by Shastras and revered by crores. BJP leader C.T. Ravi says it is inappropriate for someone of certain faith to preside over Hindu rituals. Pramoda Devi Vadiyar, matriarch of the Mysuru royal family, stresses the temple's Hindu identity, maintained by the state's Muzrai department. While Dasara may now be a cultural celebration, she maintains that the state cannot claim its sacred traditions, which the royal family continues to observe privately. BJP MP Tejaswi Surya alleges Mushtaq's invite is a part of a well-orchestrated plan by urban Naxals and Marxists.
Problem is not with Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP. Problem is with the mindset of the ruling Congress party. Recently I've seen D.K. Shukmar's statement on Chamundi Hills. See the statements of Congress leaders nowadays. Every statement of theirs it's a insult to Hindu people, Hindu community. It's a insult to Hindu customs and Hindu tradition, Hindu beliefs. Whether it's a D.K. Shukmar statements or appointing, as far as inviting Banu Mushtaq for inaugurating Dasra, and I had questioned this earlier also. When international award has been awarded for Banu Mushtaq as well as Deepa Basti, why only Banu Mushtaq?
Yes, sir. As we all know, Mr. Nazir Ahmad ji also, he was also involved in Dasra. but we are not having any issues that one Muslim lady is going to inaugurate Dasra. But our only issue here is, see, there are many other people who are great achievers, who are great writers. Socially, many people have come out doing many good things for the society. Maybe you could have opted for other people also.
The Congress government insists this is not politics. Deputy CM DK Shivakumar maintains that Chamundeshwari belongs to everyone and Dasara is a cultural festival open to all. Yet critics counter that sidelining the Sanatan Foundation is not inclusivity but appeasement politics.
ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಕೆಲವು ಸತ್ಯಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಸಹಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರಮೋದೇವಿ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಯದುವೀರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೀ ತಪ್ಪು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯೋದೇ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸ. ರಾಜಕೀಯದವ್ರು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನೋ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬೆಟರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್. ಬೇರೆ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೋಕ್ಸ್ಮನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Karnataka now faces a tough question. Should literary recognition override centuries of religious sanctity? Is this truly about unity or a political choice that risks alienating devotees for whom Dasara exists?
The Indian Army has inaugurated the tallest national flag of Kashmir in Baramulla, symbolizing pride and unity at this location. Here's a report from my colleague Arnab.
Indian Army unfurled the tallest national flag in Baramulla, 6,272 feet above sea level. A 72 feet tower carries the majestic tricolour measuring 24 into 48 feet. The inauguration was carried out by Corps Commander 15 Corps along with the GOC 19 Infantry Division, Commander 79 Mountain Brigade and other top dignitaries from civil and defence establishments. On this occasion, the Army also announced the successful creation of a road leading to the strategic Cheetah post in Baramulla, a major infrastructure achievement that will enhance accessibility and connectivity in the valley.
मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है. आप जानते हैं कि मैं फ्लैग फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया से हूं और फ्लैग फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिया का ये ख्वाब रहा है जब से हम फ्लैग फाउंडेशन इंडिया बनी है कि पूरे हिंदुस्तान में हर कोने में ऐसे झंडे, आइकॉनिक झंडे लगे, बड़े बड़े झंडे लगे और हर यहाँ की जो कौम है कहीं पर भी हिंदुस्तान के हिस्से में वो झंडे को बड़े शान से अपने घर पे लगाएं, अपने शरीर पे लगाएं, कपड़ों के ऊपर लगाएं. हमारा सपना ये सच होता हुआ नज़र आ रहा है और ये एक सिंबल है कि हम सब एक प्राउड इंडियन हैं और हम सब देश के लिए सोच रहे हैं. ये एक सिंबलिज्म है, एक्ट उसके ऊपर करना है वो भी उतना ही ज़रूरी है, लेकिन ये एक पहली शुरुआत है और जिसकी हमको बहुत खुशी है.
Vice President of the Flag Foundation of India, delivering a keynote address, lauded the Army's effort in strengthening the spirit of nationalism and bringing communities together under the banner of the tricolour.
मुझे इस जगह का वीडियो दिखाया गया था 6 महीने पहले और मैंने सवाल पूछा डिप्टी ज्योति साहब से कि यहाँ लगेगा कैसे, यहाँ तो कोई रास्ता भी नहीं है जाने का. और जब इन्होंने कल मुझे कुछ फोटोग्राफ भेजे बाद में और जब दिखाया और जब मैं आज आया हूँ, मैं एक्चुअली सल्यूट करना चाहता हूँ आप सब पूरी टीम को.
The event witnessed enthusiastic participation of locals, ex-servicemen, students and community leaders, marking it as a moment of pride for North Kashmir.
Viewers, despite Trump's efforts and him boasting about how he wants to have peace in Ukraine and he's doing everything possible, just last night Russia launched a deadly attack on Ukraine. According to Ukrainian authorities, Russia fired 598 drones, 11 ballistic missiles and 20 cruise missiles on parts of Ukraine. It has killed over a dozen people and viewers, 3 among those killed were children. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry reports that they destroyed over 100 Ukrainian drones at the same time frame. The attacks come as the so-called peace efforts to end the 3-year war struggle to gain traction, with Western leaders accusing Putin of dragging his feet in peace efforts.
At a time when not just Ukraine, Росія дає сигнали виключно про те, що збирається і надалі ухилятись від реальних перемовин, і це можна змінити тільки сильними санкціями, сильними тарифами, справжнім тиском. Робимо і наші кроки, які можуть вплинути.
Not just Russia, but the whole world is looking forward to a ceasefire or a possible end to the war.
L'Union européenne n'est en aucun cas l'Union soviétique. Instruites par les tragédies du siècle passé, nos nations ont choisi la voie de la paix, de la réconciliation, et l'Union européenne que la Moldavie aspire aujourd'hui à rejoindre est une communauté de valeurs.
When leaders and their delegations are meeting different world leaders to gain support ahead of the historic peace talk. Russia has continued their relentless onslaught on Ukraine. In a fresh development, in the early hours of Thursday, Russia launched a massive drone and missile attack on the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv. Multiple areas of Kyiv were hurt, killing a dozen people. Ukrainian authorities have confirmed death of 3 children amongst those who lost their lives. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russian aerial attacks involved 598 drones, 11 ballistic missiles and 20 cruise missiles. This was the first major combined drone and missile attack to strike Kyiv post-Trump and Putin's meeting in Alaska.
Для Києва багато постраждалих будівель ми бачимо. Це Дніпровський, Шевченківський, Голосіївський, Діснянський райони. Це і нежитлові будинки, багатоповерхівки ми бачимо, заклади освіти, транспортна інфраструктура. Скрізь на місцях ми бачимо, зараз працюють екстрені служби. В Дарницькому районі зруйнований будинок, рятувальники шукають людей під завалами. В центрі міста влучання, торгівельний центр, постраждали.
Among the damaged properties were the European delegation's building in Kyiv and the offices of the British Council. UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer confirmed the damage in a post on social media platform X, saying his thoughts were with all those affected by the senseless Russian strikes on Kyiv. EU's Commissioner Marta Kos also condemned the attacks, saying it is a clear sign that Russia rejects peace and chooses terror. Last week's meeting between Ukrainian President Zelensky and US President Donald Trump gave such a sigh of hope to Ukrainians about the possibility of peace. But this attack has raised doubt amongst Ukrainians about the possibility of a ceasefire.
Чесно, прям от щоб так близько ще ніколи не прилітало. В будь-якому разі зараз страждають всі і прилітає в будь-які райони. І, як бачимо, ніякі перемовини поки нічого не дають, люди страждають, на жаль.
It was not only Kyiv that was hurt. The mass of the attack was so large that Konstantinivka city of Ukraine also fell victim to the deadly attack, leaving 2 dead and many injured. Meanwhile, on the other side of the border, Russian Defense Ministry reported that its air defense system intercepted and destroyed 102 Ukrainian drones. Even with the peace talks on the horizon and both countries showing willingness to attend, there are no signs of the war abating. With fresh escalation on the Ukrainian capital and global churn due to tariffs, the world is watching very closely.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of 6 Stories at 6. Live breaking continues at 6:30. Thanks for watching.